Hi, everybody. It's Steve Tarter, another edition of Tartar Sauce, and here at the Peoria Journal-Star in Peoria, Illinois. And with me today, Annie Parks. Annie, welcome to our palatial studio here at the Journal-Star.
It's lovely. Love it.
We are going to talk to you about the balanced bee, which is not honey, right? Or maybe it isn't. There's some honey in there somewhere, but it's about you tell us.
Sure. So the Balanced Bee is the first uniquely blended juice and broth restorative.
And it's at the Metro Center in Peoria.
We are located in the Metro Center. We opened there in October of 2016. So we just celebrated our second year anniversary. And since then, I have opened out a satellite location out at the Louisville Slugger Complex. And I'm very excited to be opening a third location here in Peoria's Junction City.
Oh, really? So you'll be hitting two shopping centers there.
We're going to be buzzing. That is for sure.
Look for a lot of bee references here.
Lots of puns.
That's good. Well, now explain that, because I've been to your store in the Metro Center, the juice and broth restorative, which is comes floating right off the tongue there. But what does that mean? Somebody's going to listen to this or watch this and go, what does that mean?
Sure. So I think, we have a wide variety of customer base. And I think first and foremost, it means, providing products from a health-driven perspective for the community to have access to. Mm-hmm. We have got all organic items that we focus on. Ingredients, quality ingredients are important to us. So, really we're a mission-driven company based in a foundation of focusing on food as thy medicine.
And you produce it all there?
Yeah, our main facility in the Metro Center, we produce the juice. Mm-hmm. I do have another off-site location where the bone broth is produced as well. And things are really picking up, and it's exciting.
Now, somebody might say, this is sort of a health food, organic, and again, everyone's got a different level of understanding. But why should they go this route? What do you say to someone who wanders into your store and goes, so why do I need this?
Well, I think it's simple. It's rooted in a foundation of creating balance within a very busy modern day lifestyle. And, we have plenty of access to solid foods, drive-throughs, coffee shops. And it's, it's definitely nothing against any of those options. It's just bringing options such as raw, cold-pressed juice and bone broth more mainstream and available to people.
And so somebody would know, do they do it every day or just now and then, or how do you recognize? Does it vary with each individual? What's the pattern?
Sure. So we see a lot of different regimens coming through, and inquisitive customers coming through looking to answer that question for themselves too, because a lot of what we do right now is educating our community, since we are the first. And so I think that you getting into the store first, really coming in and seeing what it is that we have to offer and the environment that we're providing for the consumers is the first step. And then just opening yourself up to giving your body a break and giving your digestive system a break from all of the solid foods.
Give your body a break. I like that slogan.
Yeah. Liquid lifestyle is what I like to say.
And obviously, you've been at the Metro Center now 2 years.
Yes.
This month. So what are you hearing back from customers?
Well, we're opening a third location, so we definitely are having a really, really lovely response. And I personally am so elated that my vision is aligning with the community and the demand that we have to provide a resource for healthy alternatives. So we're having a great response. We're having a heck of a lot of fun educating people. And that's really what's important to me right now, is to be able to share my passion and my obsession with health and wellness with the community.
Let's talk about your so-called obsession. Now, you let's talk about how you came to this point. You mentioned as we came up here, you were last here at the Journal-Star from your volleyball days, correct?
Yeah.
You were a big-time volleyball player.
I was just as much passionate about my volleyball career, and now that momentum has kind of naturally shifted into my focus for all things health and wellness. And so, yeah, I grew up here. I'm from Groveland, Illinois. I went to Peoria, Notre Dame, led a very active lifestyle then, got into sport, chose volleyball as my sport of focus, went on to set goals to play at the Division I level. I, did become Player of the Year here for the Journal-Star. I think that was way back in 1999, I think. And
so we have your picture on file here.
Honor.
Yeah, we go.
Yeah. I still have.
We'll find that when we're back.
Nonetheless, a really great honor. And then I had decided and was so grateful to be on scholarship and play for Sue Sinclair over at ICC. And then from there, transitioned on out to the East Coast to finish my career on scholarship for the University of New Hampshire. And that's where I was just exposed to, a variety of different things and challenged in ways to balance on a consistent. So I've really led this lifestyle since as far back as I can remember, on focusing on how to balance.
Now, the University of New Hampshire, you're obviously East Coast. Do you find it was, at the time you were there was more involvement with healthy, organic, alternatives?
I think the inspiration for me from spending time on the East Coast in New Hampshire was really definitely a faster pace, if you can believe it or not, but more nature-based. Our coaches really focused on getting us out and exploring, nature and taking that time from a mental perspective to train our brains. It is a lot of physical, but just as much mental game in that type of an environment. And it is definitely there where I was encouraged to study in the area of kinesiology and to get my degree and focus on human movement and that was a lot of athletic inspired focus, but nonetheless something I was immensely excited about and interested in, and I definitely am glad that that's carried over into my career where I'm at today.
I think you were telling me this when I was at your store. You've traveled pretty widely and do so on a regular basis?
Yes, yeah. I had 11 years, actually, of corporate sales experience prior to becoming a wellpreneur or entrepreneur or womaneer.
A new word. Let's write all these down. Wellpreneur. Yeah. I like that one.
So I did. I spent 11 years in the corporate environment, and I'm so grateful for that. I couldn't be where I'm at today without having that background and focus.
Business and
sales
and so as you traveled and probably still travel, what do you find? I mean, is it the need for what you're offering growing? I mean, do you see a market out there that people awareness is growing?
Oh, absolutely.
The need for health?
Absolutely. Through my travels, across the country and in different roles, I was always looking for that healthy option to fuel myself. And to me, that went further than, Subway or healthy focused snacks. I was always packing my lunch. And so I discovered juice bars, and I really spent a lot of time going in and out of different juice bars, and the bone broth is actually why I started the Balance Bee, because that came from a personal, silent suffering intestinal issue that I had as an athlete, and you can't really, spend the time trying to get yourself better. You've got to spend that short amount of time that you have being on the court and being focused. And so when I graduated from UNH, it became, a mission of mine really to find a healing resource from a liquid perspective that I could rely on and be on the go with to heal myself.
Now, just so I understand, because I'm not sure people can come into your store and talk to you and your associates about specific things that affect them. when you take the bone broth or the juices, are you then not eating so much solid? In other words, is it a substitute, or you just add it on?
Sure. So we have a couple of different interpretations of how to incorporate the juices or the bone broths into your daily lives. And that can mean something as simple as just incorporating one juice or bone broth into your meal prescription on a daily basis. Or, yes, I have certified health coaches from an integrative standpoint where we can get more customized and one-on-one with you and have those conversations about your needs from a nutritional perspective. So
and they
we do
vary.
a lot of hand-holding.
And obviously they vary from individual to individual. I mean,
Yes.
the people, you customize different things to different individuals.
We absolutely do that, yeah. In our cleanse space in the shop, I create, on a weekly basis, different dietary dogmas, if you will, around each individual's needs. So
I'm writing all these things down. I'm not writing them down. I'm thinking of them. I'll quickly forget them, of course.
These are called buzzwords.
Oh, dear. And she's with the Balance B, in case you missed that.
Hey, we've got to have fun, right?
Yeah.
This is...
Well, I do find now, speaking of that, I mean, and it's not necessarily fun, but it can be, marketing your efforts. You've got 3 stores now, or 3 outlets. What's the challenge there? Is it social media? Because you mentioned you haven't had a ribbon cutting yet for the Metro Center.
No, that's a strategy.
The Chamber of Commerce is waiting, by the way.
That's definitely something where, I had a very thoughtful intention behind that. It's like, running a business and bringing a new concept to Central Illinois or any community that's a major responsibility. And I don't take that lightly. And so I really wanted to focus on my team, my customers, and that just hasn't meant, getting all of the glory just yet. But that is coming. That is definitely coming. And we're excited for that. But regarding the marketing aspect of the whole thing, I do have a minor in marketing, but I could not, be grateful enough to have a solid foundation from a branding perspective in my team of people that I work with. And so they've really been just as much an integral part of the Balanced Bee as, I am behind the creative and the recipes. And because most people don't really know that. Most people come into the Balanced Bee, and we've done such a good job of branding and marketing. Most people think it's a chain.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that, no, we're locally sourced and owned and operated here in Peoria, Illinois. And
well, that's a compliment, probably,
yes,
because
absolutely
that says, hey, somebody worked on this from New York or wherever it was.
Yeah.
But now, what are the names that you threw out before you took the Balanced Bee?
Oh,
the Broth House? No,
I'm not. And again, my branding people are such experts in their field of what they do. But I'm not one of those people. This is funny. I just said this the other day. I'm not the type of girl who will look at 60 colors of paint in order to decide which one I'm going to land
go for
on. So,
quickly.
We did some creative process behind, and I really leaned on my daughter, actually, from an inspirational. She's 8. She, her favorite number was the infinity logo, or the infinity, not logo, the infinity. The infinity. And so that's what you will see here in the center of our logo. But I think, it just made sense because coming from being such a busy bee and aiming to be more balanced in everyday life and help others to be that as well. So the name and everything definitely.
So you're not concerned if people wander in and go, where's your honey? You're selling honey here, right? Balanced Bee?
We've only had in the 2 years probably 2 phone calls about what kind of honey we sell.
Okay.
I'm not ruling it out.
That's not too bad.
We're a lifestyle brand, so I am not ruling anything out.
All right, you beekeepers out there, keep that in mind because they need help too.
That's right.
What as you look forward on this thing, as you move forward, what do you expect to see happening with on the health side? Because it seems like, and again, I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of an observer. And you pick up a newspaper, a Wall Street Journal or something, and it's always talking about how people want healthier options.
Sure.
They want them at the airport when they go to catch a plane. They want them wherever they happen to be. Now, it does not say that drive-throughs aren't still popular and all that. Where do you see that going? Is it going to continue on, or what's the future like?
Well, I feel really excited that is the momentum, and where the momentum is going and has been kind of creeping, towards for a while now. And I'm incredibly excited to be a part of that and have my foot in the space. But, I think for me, on a daily basis, I have all these responsibilities, right? And one of the more important things is my commitment to my community. And I take the responsibility to, on a higher level, manage and balance, like being relevant with what the trends are and what is going on out there in the health and wellness world. And my projections, from all of my travels and how I engage myself and my brand are that we're only going up. There's only up to go, because again, there's so much room for opportunity to provide balance in the current modern world where we're living. And, one of my main focuses is being one of the resources and players in that game. So
when do you open, or have you opened at Junction City?
No, Junction City, we will definitely have a presence there for their holiday walk coming up at the beginning of November. I'm working diligently because I'm doing a little bit of a different menu over there. I'm very excited about our plant and animal kingdom, and now I'm going to be incorporating a little bit of a fresh perspective for people, something that's not being provided here. And so we shortly will, after that, have an official grand opening there. So.
And that's probably a good place for that, because there's been lots of new stores there. I mean, there's lots of health-related things out there at Junction City.
Yeah, the Junction location is really great. I mean, the Metro Center is always going to remain our foundation for where the bee started, and I don't envision that going anywhere. And the Junction location, though, is excellent because we're going to be doing sort of a very indulgent wellness destination over there, aligning ourselves with the pharmacy and with the yoga studio over there. And I think that's going to be an exciting opportunity for the community to support. So
you got a bushwhacker, walking trail, a park right across the way. I mean, it's becoming an interesting destination. Well, we're talking with Annie Parks of the Balanced Bee, and that's the. I was going to ask you about broth. What's the distinction there? Somebody said, "Well, why?" I think most of us have heard about juice and the benefits there, and it's fresh and all that. But what's with broth? Why is that a benefit?
So, yes, the juice. I like to say, okay, live enzymes and nutrients, and that's getting right into your bloodstream. So not taking any time or work for your body as we're aging to break that down. And then the bone broth, as we age, and even if we're young and we're sick, I think we just turn naturally to a soothing and nurturing and nourishing liquid of some sort. That's always been, grandmother's chicken noodle soup. And
we've heard a lot about that.
That's honestly how that thought started for me was, I'm sick and I've got these serious intestinal issues. And so the bone broth is wonderful because it's not only, able to focus on something as simple as your common cold, but it's also able to, as we're aging, heal some things like a leaky gut syndrome and, great collagen for our skin. So it's known as nature's Botox these days. That's like one of the more trendy things that's going around. But for me, really, it's simple ingredients being used. And why bone broth it's incredibly popular, but it's incredibly time consuming to make. So our broths take anywhere from 8 to 72 hours to cook, and sourcing is not easy. So it becomes, huge obstacles for people, and it's not convenient. So we're making it convenient, one, by serving that out of the cup, hot and ready to go, like a coffee or a tea. And then two, yes, we do package those for frozen. And so, if the future is definitely going to look like me getting into e-commerce for the bone broth specific. I don't pasteurize my juices, so those are going to continue to be distributed regionally. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, Annie, it sounds like you got a plan, and we're happy to kind of pass that on to people. And of course, the other thing is, it's great that you've been able to do all this, right here in Peoria and in Peoria area, because you've also got a connection to Caterpillar, right? Yeah.
So we, first and foremost, I couldn't be more excited to have launched the Balanced Bee in Peoria, and that wasn't really the thought that I had initially. I didn't envision myself opening this up in Peoria, but as I realized more that there was a need for this in central Illinois, I started coming around to the idea that I could make a commitment to the community. And I sure am glad that I did, just because, again, so many people need help, and it's really allowed me to grow my business in a variety of different ways. And yes, we're at Caterpillar. We're at now 4 locations there. I just came from one, serving up juice and bone broth to all of the employees there at Caterpillar, and it's wonderful. It's been a really, a dream come true for me, coming from that corporate background and not having, access to things like this and products like this. Food is thy medicine. And so that's been a dream come true for me. And nonetheless, I was in sales 11 years, and you really don't have an opportunity fall in your lap. And I think it's a really great compliment to how good, myself and my team have done to design a great service to the community.
And I think too, it's good that we hear stories like this, because retail is on the run, if you will, at least in many ways, and that's we could do a lot of different things. We could talk about that another time, but it's great to see success things in specific areas like this, which are obviously healthy.
Yeah.
And
I talk about it all the time. It's like, there's good and there's bad. And I like to say we've got to change a little bit of our language, in our daily lives, just because we have access to, sometimes the news is not the greatest of news. And this is we want to create, we say, the good buzz only, and giving people hope and making them feel balanced and healthy and being true to who they are. So
very good. Well, Annie, thank you so much for coming on here, because I think, just like, if you're like some people just wander into places without knowing, hey, what's in there? The Balanced Bee has some very intriguing things, and I think you've given us some thoughts about that, and I think we'll follow up on that. So we wish you all the luck in the world as you move on.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank Matt Dayhoff, who's been at the controls here. Let's it all come out there to you folks in Facebook land. And this is Steve Tarter. We'll see you next time on Tarter Sauce.
Be well.